Tell me again how you knew the finalizer was hiding out around New Alderaan. Also, why you believe we aren't going to be target practice flying directly at a Star Destroyer.
Leia used to bring Ben here when they were trying to develop the new settlement for Alderaanian refugees. It must have had an effect on him since he continued to come back by himself after the development was abandoned. He would come here when he needed an escape from the academy. He thought no one knew. As far as your second question, it looks like whatever made me believe we wouldn't be used as target practice doesn't matter because it was wrong.
As TIE fighters begin their attack on the two X-Wings, Kylo Ren contacts the bridge of the finalizer from his private quarters.
Why am I hearing explosions outside my Star Destroyer? I left Coruscant for some peace.
The TIE fighter launch officer grabbed his neck as he futilely tried to get breath out to scream.
X-Wings appeared, sir. Aren't we supposed to shoot down X-Wings?
Did the X-Wings hail us?
Yes, sir, but we didn't listen to it. I will play it now.
This is Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, here to surrender to the Empire.
Kylo Ren let out an exhausted sigh as the young lieutenant braced for the end.
Allow them to land. Fill the hangar with stormtroopers. I will be right up. And Lieutenant, I want you personally to dispose of the launch officer's body, just so you won't forget what consequences are.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Why did you have to kill that officer?
I can't let on to the crew that my goals have changed. Besides, that officer has the death sentence in 4-star systems. I was serving justice.
You keep telling yourself that, but I'm not buying it. You kill someone in cold blood again and I'm gone.
After the TIE fighters disengage, Luke and Poe enter the finalizer's hangar. Luke thinks to himself,
"Wow, it's just like I left it,"
as he surveys the hangar full of stormtroopers. But this time, Kylo Ren is there to meet them. And as he climbs down from his X-Wing, Luke hears his nephew's still unfriendly voice.
How did you find me, Uncle? I came here to train my apprentice in peace.
Your apprentice? I hope you aren't referring to Rey. I did warn you that if you hurt her, there would be consequences.
With that threat, the Imperials moved in to detain Skywalker and Dameron, only to be stopped by Kylo.
Stop! This is Luke Skywalker. If he wanted to be a threat, you wouldn't be able to stop him. No, Uncle. I have not hurt Kira. She acts of her own free will, which is why I fled Coruscant. I didn't want her exposed to the virus and become just another Ren. Now come, let's discuss the terms of your surrender.
Kylo walked Luke and Poe back to his private quarters, only to be overjoyed when they find Rey walking down the hallway towards them, healthy and not a prisoner. Luke hugs his former apprentice.
Rey, it's so great to see that you're okay. Kylo said you were his apprentice. Is that by choice?
Not a choice. A ruse. A way to justify me being here without being in a prison cell. And you can call me Kira. Being here with Ben has brought back some memories.
Okay, Kira it is. And you are Ben Solo again, Kylo.
Kira can call me whatever she wants. To you, Uncle, I'm Kylo Ren. I don't want you to start thinking we are on the same side again.
And what do I call you?
Poe, you can call me Rey if you want to.
Now that we are all clear on our names, can you tell me how my mother is doing, and why you two risked your lives to come here?
Your mother is doing well. Last report said she will make a full recovery. And as to why we are here, I need your help rescuing Finn and Maz from your boss.
Ha! Why would I help you? Your friends are probably already dead, and I strive to be Snoke's apprentice. Helping you would not work in my favor for that goal. Surely you meant you came for Kira's help.
No, I meant you, Kylo. With your past exposure to the virus, the effects shouldn't drive you into madness. And as far as why you would help me, I figured you are either turned back to the light, in which case it's the right thing to do. Or you are still dark and helping me kill Snoke means you would now be the master not the apprentice. I am pretty sure that's how this whole Sith thing works. So what do you say?
I will help you, Uncle. but only to protect Kira. I will not have Snoke turn her into another Ren, and stopping him may be the only way to do that.
And how do I fit in this plan of yours, Master Skywalker?
You and Rey. Sorry, Kira. We'll go rally the Republic for another assault. You guys will return in the Falcon. While the Republic attacks, you will rescue us. Simple enough.
Great! Sure glad I flew all the way out here for nothing.
I am going to stay here on the finalizer.
No, you are not. It is too dangerous without me here.
I am more useful here. I can make sure Hux doesn't take this Star Destroyer back to Coruscant. If you put me in charge, he is too loyal to you and scared to disobey you. I will make sure this ship isn't added to the remnant fleet. Besides, I am learning a lot about your empire using your clearance, Ben.
Kylo Ren gave Kira a slight snarl, knowing she was engaging in some not-so-secret espionage. But it was no concern. Kylo planned to combine the Republic and Empire. It mattered little to him if they knew each other's secrets.
I don't understand your decisions, Lord Ren. I remained silent when you took us out of the battle and had us remain in this desolate system in radio silence. But I must object to you flying off with the most powerful Jedi alone, and leaving another Jedi in charge of this Star Destroyer.
Tread lightly, Admiral Hux. Remember who you serve. Kira is in charge. She has my specific orders to maintain position. Any deviation from that order or insubordination towards my apprentice, and you will be held personally responsible.
Once out of earshot, Hux turns to Captain Phasma and says,
I serve the Empire. I am not certain Kylo Ren does anymore.
The moment they clear the hangar, Kylo Ren's shuttle and Poe's X-Wing go their separate ways. Kylo had told his crew that he was personally bringing Skywalker to Supreme Leader Snoke and is allowing Poe to fly back to deliver the Empire's demands for the Republic's complete surrender. And just as soon as the two ships jump to hyperspace, the finalizer detects a single fighter right next to their hull, as if it appeared out of nowhere.
Admiral Hux, your presence is required in Hangar Bay 8.
And who, may I ask, is requiring me to report to Hangar 8?
That would be Cypher Ren, sir.
Hux looked at Captain Phasma and smiled.
This may get things back on track.
But his smile turned to dread as he walked down the hallway. Standing framed in the entrance to Hangar 8 was Cypher Ren.
Why do you stand before me and not Kylo Ren? Speak quickly. I have no patience for bootlickers.
Kylo Ren has gone back to Coruscant to personally turn Luke Skywalker over to Supreme Leader Snoke. Skywalker turned himself in a short time before you arrived. Sir.
Please explain the events that led to the finalizer leaving Coruscant in the first place.
During the Republic's failed attack on the blockade, the finalizer was boarded by Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa Solo, and a third Jedi, whom Kylo Ren referred to as the Last Ren. Their mission seemed to be the rescue of the Republic General Chewbacca. Skywalker left with a gravely hurt Organa Solo once the Wookiee was secured. But the third Jedi stayed on the finalizer. Kylo dubbed her his apprentice and ordered us to jump to this system in order to corrupt the final Ren himself before bringing her to Snoke. Kylo's words, not mine.
And did this apprentice leave with Skywalker and Kylo?
No, sir. She stayed behind. Kylo put his apprentice in charge of this Star Destroyer with orders to maintain position. Would you like me to have her report to this hangar? Or perhaps, to meet us on the bridge?
No. She will come to me. Take the finalizer back to its position in the blockade over Coruscant. Also, I saw an X-Wing in the next hangar bay. Blow it up.
The sounds of the explosion and the Star Destroyer entering hyperspace distracted Rey enough for her to contact Admiral Hux. The lack of response from Hux compelled her to venture to the bridge for answers, and the sight of the Knight of Ren standing between her and the bridge answered all her questions.
I hear you go by Rey now. That's good. I always thought the name Kira was a bit stuck up.
I'm sorry. My memory is a little hazy. And with that mask, I wouldn't recognize you anyway. So go ahead and tell me how I used to know you and what scary-sounding name you gave yourself when you went crazy.
Both my names are inconsequential. You won't be alive long enough for them to be of any use to you.
Oh, good. The last knight of Ren I faced went into a whole diatribe about his jealousy of me before we fought. It was flattering. I sounded pretty awesome as a Jedi, but it was also embarrassing. It's hard to fight someone you feel sorry for.
The only thing I want you to feel is pain.
As duelists, the two were evenly matched, but there was something strange about this Ren. With every blow of his lightsaber, a shockwave of doubt and fear rattled Kira in the Force. Physically, she was handling her own, but Cypher Ren was beating her down emotionally, interfering with her connection to the Force.
You will be the undoing of both Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker. Your death will be the beginning of my reign.
Cypher Ren's boasting broke the Force influence he had on Kira. A slight stutter she picked up on let her remember who the man under the mask is, and how unimpressive he's always been. Kira slips out of the lightsaber lock, dodges Cypher's thrust, disarms him, and grabs him with the Force.
I am not going to let the likes of you, Bren Tisk, get in the way of the work Ben and I are doing here. We will end.
Stunned and in tremendous pain, Kira wonders how she let someone get the drop on her. Cypher Ren gets to his feet to see Admiral Hux standing behind Kira with a smoking blaster.
Thank you, Admiral Hux. You are not as useless as I first thought. I am impressed, Kira. Your skill seems to have remained even if your memory hasn't. Well, I have gained skills since we last met.
Cypher releases lightning from his fingers hitting Kira, the electricity coursing through her body. The pain added to the blaster bolt in her back makes it impossible for her not to scream. Hux flinches as he sees Kira lose consciousness.
Shall I get her to the med bay? Sir?
There will be no need to waste supplies on her. She will not be with us long. Have your men dump her in Kylo Ren's quarters. That is where I will take up residence until his return. As soon as Kylo makes contact, patch him directly through to me. And get everyone to battle stations. We are rejoining the blockade.
Cypher Ren doesn't wait for a response. He immediately turns and walks away. Hux calls his second-in-command, Captain Payne, over and relays the Knight of Ren's orders.
Yes, sir. Right away. If I may ask, did we not just betray Kylo Ren's command?
What we did, Captain Payne. Or more accurately, what I did was condemn everyone on this ship to death. But fear not, we will be dying in service of the Empire.
On the surface of Coruscant, fires are dying down. Supreme Leader Snoke has stopped the spread of his virus and deployed stormtroopers to round up the population to determine those who can be brought back from the madness, and those who couldn't. Maz Kanata has spent the past few weeks trying to find a way back into the Senate building to rescue Finn. Since the stormtroopers arrived, the Senate building has been heavily guarded. Maz did manage to find out that test subjects have been thrown into what is known as the Pit, a makeshift dungeon under the Senate that was the heaviest concentration of dark force energy on the planet. Maz found out that beings were thrown down there to see how much darkness they can handle before they snapped. She was positive Snoke placed Finn in this pit. But the stormtroopers weren't Maz's only obstacle. Even with the virus turned off, the citizens of Coruscant were still savage, and everyone that saw her tried to kill her, so she had to travel on the rooftops and alleys. Maz thanked the Force when traveling through an alley led her to an Anzellan, and it must have been the Force that put this little creature in her path. Anzellans were known for not being seen. They weren't skilled spies like the Bothans. There was just something about the species that allowed them to go anywhere without notice, unless they wanted to be noticed. The other gift the Anzellans had was the Force had no effect on them, which is why this little guy wasn't trying to bite Maz's ankles off right now.
Hello, little one. It's not often I get to say that. Yes, I noticed you. And no, I am not going to try to kill you. I need your help. Why yes, your help will be rewarded with a trip off the planet, as you request. But what I need you to do is very dangerous. I need you to take this lightsaber, and a hollow message to a friend of mine in a pit full of monsters that will try to rip you apart. And that's after you get past the stormtroopers, who will shoot you on sight. That's it. You don't need time to consider the danger.
Ready.
Ha! You and Zelens are amazing. My name is Maz Kanata. And you are? Well, Babu Freak, I am going to get myself captured. So you and Finn have a chance to escape.
Maz Kanata brazenly walked up to the entrance of the Senate building. Once spotted by the guards, the building went into lockdown. They immediately surrounded Maz and brought her in for interrogation. As soon as she felt they were as close to Snoke's throne room as they were going to be, Maz discarded the troopers and headed to her destination. The throne room appeared empty, with not a sound to be heard. No guards, no Snoke. But Maz could feel something wasn't right. She thinks to herself, they could be on a break. Even supreme leaders need a snack during a long workday. Maz smiles at her own joke and says,
You can do away with your silly illusions, Higo Damask. I am not fooled by them. Especially since you failed to hide your foul stench.
Immediately, Maz finds herself exactly where she was the last time she was in this room, surrounded and outnumbered.
We have been looking for you for weeks, my dear. I never really expected to find you. You are far too cunning and experienced to be caught by standard stormtroopers. But now you return to me of your own accord. What game are you playing at Kanata?
I just had some questions I needed answering. So I decided to go to the source. That would be you, Higo Damask. Or Plagueis or Snoke or whatever you are calling yourself now.
Yes. We could learn a lot from each other, you and I. Yes. Why don't you begin? Ask your questions, then I will ask mine.
Okay. How are you alive?
Curious. I thought you would want to know about my evil plan in a vain effort to find a way to stop me. Or even ask where your friend is. But you want a biography? That's just fascinating. Very well, the demise of Higo Damask came on the same night Chief Palpatine became Chancellor of the Grand Republic. My apprentice decided to advance both his careers that evening. While I slept, Darth Sidious set his ambitions upon me. Truth be told, I was proud of my apprentice. He knew there was no way to beat me face to face. So he took the power any way he could. But what Sidious didn't know was I wasn't in my body. I learned to separate my consciousness while I slept in order for my mind to study while my body rested. So I watched as he mutilated me, burning every cell with his lightning. When he was sure I was dead, he left and I went to work, using the Force to reawaken my cells, bringing my body back from death's grasp. I also had a contingency plan for this occasion. I had prepared agents to recover my body in case of my death and place it in a specialized Bacta tank in an unknown location. There, I sat for years, bringing my cells back to life with the Force and the Bacta keeping those cells alive. I was able to get my body functioning again, although I was hideously disfigured. So disfigured I was unrecognizable. Under the name Snoke I began rebuilding my influence. I started with the banking clan. Being one myself and still in possession of a fortune, it was fairly easy to rise in their ranks. Through business ventures in military arms, I was able to gain the respect and trust of high-ranking Imperial officers. And I had deep connections in the galaxy's underworld. By the time the first Death Star exploded, I had the ears of all the major players in the galaxy without the Sith knowing. By the time the second Death Star blew up, they were all ready to follow me. Palpatine's demise left Imperial leadership scattered. I started to collect the stragglers at first. Captains that weren't with a fleet. I gathered them around the Star Killer base that was supplying the material for the second Death Star. And I put my new fleet to work using those materials to build an armada. Soon all loyal to the Empire saw me as the only hope to reclaim power.
My question could have been answered by just saying you are immortal. How long have you been waiting to tell that story? You seem real proud of your adventures.
I was hoping to answer any follow-up questions preemptively in order to speed up these formalities. Did I? Or is there more you want to know about me?
Why did you abandon the Sith's rule of two for your Knights of Ren?
I abandoned nothing. I am still Darth Plagueis. I am still Sith. The Knights of Ren are a competition to find my next apprentice. Only one will remain and they shall be the heir to the Sith.
Okay then. Next question. Tell me about this dark side virus.
It's not a virus, my dear. Over the years I learned to manipulate the darkest tendencies in other beings. Eventually I learned I could turn on the dark side like turning on a light switch. This chamber harnesses my power and amplifies it on a planetary scale.
But the chamber is not running. Why are the citizens of Coruscant still insane?
My power turns the dark side on. Nobody has turned it off. Now, my first question. Why did you turn yourself in?
Me? I came here as a distraction.
A distraction? From what?
The pit was getting crowded. When Finn first arrived, there were so few beings here that avoiding trouble was easy. But since the stormtroopers arrived on Coruscant, they have been flooding the pit with crazed monsters. Still, if Finn was able to create a diversion on one side of the pit, he could get a few moments of peace on the other side. This became routine in the weeks Finn had been down here. Routine until he ran into a creature he had never seen before. And most importantly, a creature that wasn't trying to kill him.
Hello, Babu Frick. How? What? Why? Maz's lightsaber. How? What? Why? I am not sure what you are saying, little guy. Sorry. This lightsaber you brought me belongs to a friend of mine and is our ticket out of this pit. Come on. Let's go find my friend and cause some damage.
Hyperspace is the worst time for Kylo Ren. The ship is on autopilot, and there is nothing to do but think of the horrible things he has done since taking on the name Kylo Ren. Traveling with his uncle isn't helping matters either.
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy. That's what your dad told me the first time I flew with him. I remember it every time I make a jump.
I know. I've heard the story hundreds of times.
It's good to remember him.
It wasn't good for Kylo. Remembering his father was like twisting a vibroblade in his belly. And as if reading Kylo's mind, Luke says,
It's not your fault. You didn't choose the dark side. It was forced on you. And it forced you to change who you are. Your actions were driven by an outside force, not a dark desire. That wasn't you.
You're wrong, Uncle. I killed my father. and a lot of other people. I did those things, and I enjoyed it. No matter what name I go by, I still took those actions.
Then you are going to have to forgive yourself.
What about you, Uncle? Did the great Luke Skywalker ever fall from grace? And how did you get back up?
Yes. I fell to the dark side. I even declared myself the new emperor. Hijacked an imperial fleet and went on a killing spree across the galaxy. Your father came to stop me and I almost killed him. I used the Force to drop a boulder on him. It took your mother's faith and love for me to bring me back.
The mention of his mother twisted the vibroblade in Kylo's belly.
How is my mother? And Chewbacca? Is he recovering from the torture I put him through?
When I left, Leia was still in the bacta tank. The medical droid said she would make a full recovery. Chewbacca was well enough to try to come with me, so I guess that means he will be fine. He's watching over Leia. I think his life debt has been transferred to her now that Han is gone.
That's good. We are about to come out of hyperspace. You're supposed to be my prisoner, so maybe hide in the back in case I need to send a holo-vid.
Yes, of course.
The shuttle comes out of hyperspace to a calm blockade. All Imperial ships are on standby and clear Kylo to approach the surface. Kylo lands the shuttle on the Senate building's landing platform and makes his way to the boarding ramp. As he puts his mask and helmet on, he hears the familiar snap hiss of a lightsaber and his uncle's voice growl.
You killed my best friend.
Kylo is able to get his defense up before Skywalker could kill him, and Kylo could see that murder was his uncle's goal. He could feel the rage coming from the Jedi Master. Then fear crept into Kylo Ren. His uncle wasn't holding back. Luke moves so quickly, Kylo couldn't keep up, and in short order, Kylo Ren is disarmed. Luke Skywalker raises his lightsaber with fury in his eyes and says,
I just had to get that off my chest. I feel better now. Come, we shouldn't keep a Dark Lord waiting.
Kylo would be confused if not for the dark side energy surrounding everything. The sensors showed Snoke's machine was powered off. Still darkness was everywhere, and it latched onto Master Skywalker like a metal to a magnet. Curiously, though, the Jedi wasn't resisting it. He seemed to be welcoming it like an old friend and channeling the dark side power. This frightened Kylo Ren more than going to face Snoke. Kylo and Luke exited the shuttle and entered the Senate building. So far, no one had even approached the two Force users, let alone ask them any questions. Before the mission, Kylo explained there would be no way around confronting Snoke. The first thing they would have to do is have Kylo pay his respect in person and show Snoke what Kylo brought him. Luke was hesitant facing Snoke head-on then. Now, the closer they got to Snoke, the more Kylo could feel his uncle's excitement. The dark side is priming Luke to be its vessel, and to Kylo's surprise, Luke is allowing it to. The doors to Snoke's chamber opened and Kylo Ren dropped to one knee.
My master, I have succeeded in the mission you gave me. Jedi Master Luke Skywalker is my prisoner, and I bring him as a gift to you.
Your prisoner? He doesn't look like your prisoner. So either you are a fool, or you are a traitor.
Snoke backhands Kylo Ren so hard it renders him unconscious.
Now, Master Skywalker, you are the second person to think they could just walk in here and take something from me.
Snoke points to a corner of the room where Maz Kanata sits in a small cage.
Let us dispense with the guile and have you state your business before I order your death.
You are correct, Snoke. I am not a prisoner. I am here to rescue my friends, clean up the mess you've made of this planet, and kill you.
Awfully malicious for a Jedi. Could it be my power has gotten to the great Luke Skywalker? Yes. The dark side is seeping out of every pore. Let's see if you can wield it.
With that, every Praetorian guard in the chamber advanced on Luke. The guards have skill with the Force in combat, but they aren't Jedi Masters. Luke starts cutting through the guards, their skill giving him just enough challenge to put a smile on his face. The real threat of the Praetorian Guards was that for every guard he killed, 2 more would enter the fight. Luke knew it was only a matter of time before he was overwhelmed. Fortunately, Kylo Ren re-enters the fight, using the humiliation and pain Snoke bestowed on him to fuel his rage and in turn his attacks.
I am glad you can take time out of your nap schedule to help out.
You know, Uncle, I used to think the always nice and even-keel Luke Skywalker was annoying, but I didn't know annoying until I met Dark Side Luke.
You are annoying, Kylo. I want to see the limits of the Grand Master and you keep popping your head in. I will kill you later. In the meantime, stay down. Now, Master Skywalker. Shall we proceed? How long do you think?
Snoke stops mid-sentence as the lightsaber he confiscated from Finn ignites through his arm and torso, then flies through the air only to land in the hand of an escaped Maz Kanata.
Forgot about me, did you, Higo Damask? And apparently you forgot about this lightsaber.
But Maz's smug victory soon turned to horror as Snoke's body didn't fall to the floor. Instead, it began laughing. All Maz could say was,
How?
You said it yourself, my dear. I am immortal. Since we have paused the fighting, why don't we look in on your friend FN2187 in the pit before you die? I would hate for you all not to get what you came here for.
But now it's Snoke's turn to be shocked into silence as he turns on the security monitor to hear.
I repeat. They have broken through the blast doors. The pit has been cleared out. Only the dead remain. We are being overrun. Troopers' helmets are being torn off and they are turning savage. Send reinforcements.
What? How could this be? Who is responsible for this?
That would be me. I brought some friends of yours who would like a word about their living conditions.
Finn had a simple plan. Lead the crazed Coruscanti to Snoke's chamber and cause as much damage as he could before they got to him. But then he saw Maz and Master Skywalker were here, and for the first time in weeks, Finn had hope. Hope that they could end this and live to tell about it. That hope faded when Snoke escaped the chamber, and Finn heard Master Skywalker say,
I am going after Snoke. Good luck, everybody. May the Force be with you.
That wasn't like Skywalker. Just abandoning us like that.
Snoke's power is affecting him. We are lucky he hasn't gone full Dark Lord and killed us all. And speaking of abandoning you all, I am going after my uncle.
Great. It's just you and me against everyone, Maz. Just like before.
And just like before, I am going to leave you to fight everyone by yourself. Babu Frick and I have to get that chair working in reverse so you can save everyone.
Thank you for driving home the point that the whole galaxy is on my shoulders. That's not too much pressure or anything.
Think of it as penance for your time as a stormtrooper. Now, try not to die before we get this chair working.
And with that, Finn was back to his original plan. Destroy as much as he can before he dies. Luke Skywalker entered what he knew was the Senate Rotunda, but all was black. The darkness didn't matter to Luke. He could feel Snoke's presence.
You can't hide, Plagueis. I will find you. I will put an end to your madness, today.
Suddenly, in a brilliant display of light, Snoke manifested, as tall as the Rotunda itself, and with a blinding aura.
You should watch what you wish for, Jedi. You are at the mercy of the Sith Lord that orchestrated every galactic conflict in the last 100 years. Whether you know it or not, I have orchestrated every catastrophe in your life. How do you ever hope to defeat me?
If you are that powerful, why hide behind illusion? Face me.
Is this better? Do you think just because we are the same size, that we are equals?
Of course not. Someone once told me, size matters not. But the size of your illusions doesn't concern me. Why won't you come out and face me?
Just distracting you.
And in the blink of an eye, Snoke's illusions wiped away, and the real being appeared behind Luke, ready to make a killing blow. But the blink of an eye was all this Jedi Master needed to dodge the attack and land his own strike across the Sith Lord's abdomen.
I am immortal, Jedi. Cut me, and I heal.
What if I am not the one cutting you? And what if you aren't the only one good at distraction?
Snoke's face turned to disbelief as a red blade burst from his chest. As he falls to the floor, Kylo Ren stands over Snoke with a satisfied feeling that turns to a dark thought. Then, before he knew what he was doing, Kylo swings his lightsaber at his uncle. Luke ducks below the strike, and as Kylo follows through with a second attack, Luke uses the Force to grab Kylo's lightsaber with his bare hand, and with fury in his eyes asks Kylo,
"Did you forget who I am? Did you forget the darkness I am keeping at bay? Or do you just think you inherited your father's luck?"
Sorry, Uncle, just a force of habit.
Habit? Whatever, just dismember the Dark Lord so he doesn't regenerate and meet me back in the chamber.
No, no, no. You have to reverse the flow of that yellow goo into that box with the blinking light. Not the one with the solid red light. We don't have time to go over the technical names of every component. If you understand what I mean, just do it. Well, Finn can't fight this fight alone forever. So hurry up.
But Finn wasn't in much danger. His plan had worked too well. Snoke's guards and the crazed Coruscanti had forgotten all about him. The guards recognized the bigger threat in the mob, and Finn believed the mob was attracted to the guards' shiny red armor. This allowed Finn to run through the battle, picking fights with whoever he chose. That is until Maz caught his eye and gestured him over.
Okay, kid. It's your show. Channel whatever magic you and Skywalker conjured up in that hut on Act 2, and save the day.
You sure this thing will work? I am not as powerful as Snoke.
It will not blow up. You will do fine, Finn. Trust in the Force. Trust in yourself.
Maz and Babu Frick moved out of the way. Finn turned the chair on and began meditating as Master Skywalker had taught him. A bright green light began emanating from Finn and the chair and swept through the room and then beyond it. Suddenly, everything stopped around them. Every crazed Coruscanti and stormtrooper went from enraged zombie to confused in the blink of an eye. The confusion spread to the Praetorian Guard as they paused to figure out this new strategy of their opponents. And it wasn't just in this room. All over Coruscant, beings began coming out of their darkness, regaining their composure and trying to figure out what happened to them. But the peace didn't last. The stormtroopers remembered their mission and began trying to round up Coruscanti. The Senate security and military on site began resisting the stormtroopers, and the Praetorian Guard turned to face Finn.
Maz, you and Babu Frick get out of here. I don't have the strength to fight these guys off. Just go.
I am not going anywhere. I won't abandon you again. We die together.
But they didn't have to worry about dying today. Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren suddenly appeared in the middle of the Praetorian Guard and began easily dismantling them. Then Skywalker turned to help the Republic security round up the remaining stormtroopers. Finn's plan had really worked brilliantly. Fighting the mob dwindled the ranks of the Praetorian Guard and stormtroopers so much that it made cleaning up relatively easy.
Finn, you did great. How are you feeling?
Just worn out. Did it work?
Yes. Based on local reports, the mass violence has stopped. I will keep checking for reports of the effect planet-wide. But in the meantime, Can you two fine gentlemen reassure me that Snoke won't be walking through that door any moment?
Would his head give you that assurance? Snoke wasn't a Force ghost when his body died this time, and without a head, I think we can rest easy. He won't be back. Now, if you will excuse me.
Where do you think you were going?
To call my ship and make sure Kira is okay. Admiral Hux, move the finalizer to Coruscant's orbit and put Kira on the screen.
There is one problem, my lord. The finalizer is already orbiting Coruscant.
What? I told you to remain where you were. What did Kira say about this? Let me see her, now!
Yes, of course, my lord.
Kylo Ren felt every scream in the Force. Kira was in agonizing pain, and she was feeling that pain so that Kylo felt it, and then the screen cut out, but he could still feel her. Kylo was no longer under Snoke's influence. The dark side that was forced on him was gone. What he felt now was his own rage, his own bloodlust, and if Snoke taught him anything, it was how to channel that rage. Without a word to the others, Kylo Ren went to his shuttle and left for his Star Destroyer. Little did he know he had been followed. Finn ran as fast as he could from the landing platform, bursting into the chamber room with enough force to get everyone's attention.
Kira is in danger. Kylo Ren went to save her by himself. From what I saw, she won't survive much longer.
Poe and Chewie are touching down on Platform 69 in the Falcon. I will contact them and let them know to keep the engines running. Let's move.
When Kylo Ren's shuttle broke Coruscant's atmosphere, Kylo was shocked at what he saw. Not that there was a battle. Kylo suspected Poe Dameron left his ship to rally the Republic fleet. He was shocked that there was no Republic fleet. The Imperial fleet was attacking itself. But why this was happening would have to wait. Kira was in trouble, and nothing was going to stop him from getting to her. As he approached the finalizer, Kylo found none of his command codes were working. Fortunately, they weren't needed, as all bay doors on the ship were open. Some with ray shields activated, some just open to space, with debris and personnel floating out of them. Kylo piloted his shuttle to his hangar to find a whole platoon of stormtroopers waiting for him. As Kylo Ren lands the shuttle and disembarks, all targets lock on him.
I don't have time for this,
is all he says as he concentrates all his rage into a force push, knocking the stormtroopers to the ground. This sudden movement by the stormtroopers triggered the defenses in the hangar, giving Kylo some unexpected backup. Sure, the defense lasers were targeting him too, but they were easily deflected back to the stormtroopers. Kylo left the stormtroopers to fend for themselves and started to make his way to the bridge. The whole way there was more of the same. The crew of the finalizer fighting against droids and the very computer system keeping them alive. This was sabotage the likes he had never even heard of. Kylo Ren was also getting attacked, but mostly he was stepping over bodies.
Captain Pride, commence with evacuation of the finalizer. Between the ship's malfunctions and Kylo Ren, I do believe the Star Destroyer is lost. Our priority should be to save as much of the crew as possible and regroup. I only wish it's not too late.
I wish you had as much loyalty to me as you do the rest of the crew. You were my right hand, Admiral Hux. Your betrayal demands punishment.
Before Hux could respond, Kylo ran him through with his lightsaber. Then called Captain Phasma. When she stepped forward, Kylo grabbed her in the Force and began choking her.
What is happening to the finalizer? Why is the fleet opening fire on itself? And where is Kira?
Seeing that Kylo Ren's grip was too tight for Phasma to speak, Captain Pride stepped forward.
If I may, my lord. The finalizer and the rest of the fleet have fell prey to your apprentice's treachery. The moment we joined the fleet, a virus spread from ship to ship, turning all automated systems haywire. We lost some good officers before we got life support working.
And who told you to rejoin the fleet?
That answer, as well as the answer to your question, where is Kira, can be found in your quarters, sir.
Very well. But if I don't like what I find there, I'm coming back for you, Pride.
Pride watched Kylo Ren release Phasma and leave the bridge. When he was sure Kylo was out of earshot, Pride leapt into action.
Start evacuation procedures, quietly. And continue to work on getting all gun turrets deactivated. No use evacuating if the ship is going to shoot down the evacuation pods.
Kylo stalks down the hall to his quarters, easily dispatching any resistance. But the closer he got, the sicker he felt. He couldn't feel Kira in the Force. And when the door slid open, Kylo Ren saw why. Kira's lifeless body lay in the middle of the room, placed there to make sure she was seen. Kylo screamed in rage and ran to Kira, trying to remember any Force technique, Jedi or Sith, that would save her, only to have his concentration broken by a sinister voice.
Even when we were trying to be Jedi, you talked about finding Vader's helmet. I can't believe you wasted time actually finding it. Tell me, do you talk to it when no one is around?
Yes, I do. I swear to my grandfather that I will finish what he started and destroy the Sith.
Meanwhile, the Imperial battle has spilled into the atmosphere of Coruscant, slowing the Millennium Falcon's pursuit of Kylo Ren's shuttle.
Did you bring the whole fleet with you?
No, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Look closer. It's the Imperials shooting at Imperials. The Republic fleet was still prepping when we left. This isn't us.
It's Rey. She had talked to me on a few occasions about how Snoke's virus gave her an idea. That if she were able to get access to the Imperial mainframe and message relay, she theoretically could turn the Remnant's technology against them. I was too preoccupied to see the real reason she wanted to stay on the finalizer when I was racing to save Leia and Chewie, and then again when Kylo and I went after Snoke. This was her plan all along.
That must be why we aren't taking much fire. They are not programmed to shoot us. So we just have to worry about the TIE fighters. You boys better man the turrets.
But once again there was no need. Poe flew the Falcon through the battle like an elegant dancer, casually buzzing Star Destroyers to avoid being seen, flying past already engaged TIE fighters to avoid a fight. All the while following the homing beacon Master Skywalker placed on Kylo's shuttle, leading him to a hangar with an operating ray shield.
Based on the dead stormtroopers everywhere, I would say we are in the right place. What's the plan?
I can move faster on my own. And I have to move fast if I am going to save Ben. You guys stay in the hangar and protect the ship. Based on how fast the finalizer is destroying itself, we are going to need to leave in a hurry.
And with Chewie. You can't go by yourself. And why is your concern, Ben? That monster can fend for himself. Rescuing Rey is our goal, right?
Search your feelings, Finn. You know the answer to that question.
Finn got up and stormed out of the room in anger. Finn knew he couldn't feel Rey in the Force. He just didn't want to face what that meant.
We will protect the Falcon, General Skywalker. Just don't take too long.
I will do my best. Maz, don't let Chewbacca do anything but fly the Falcon. He's still too injured to fight. May the Force be with all of you.
Skywalker is right, you big beast. You are in no condition to fight. Well, I would like you to meet Babu Frick. He is a superb mechanic. I am sure you can find something to talk about.
I think the dark side was always for me. Even without Snoke's influence, I think I would have embraced all aspects of the Force eventually. Once I was able to get away from Skywalker's narrow teachings, that is, teachings that you obviously haven't left behind. Lack of vision must run in your gene pool.
I would prefer less talk from you. You are only prolonging your death, and I am getting impatient.
All right then, little Benny Solo. Let us see who will inherit the legacy of the Sith, and who will be lying there next to your girlfriend.
No more words were spoken. The only thing that could be heard above the two lightsabers striking each other was the guttural screams of rage coming from Kylo Ren and the maniacal laughter of Cypher Ren. Kylo knew he should not be having this much trouble with Cypher. Kylo was one of the best duelists at the Jedi Academy, second only to Kira. Remembering Kira should have drove him even more into a berserker rage. But it didn't. It focused that rage. And a lack of focus was why Kylo was losing. Cypher was enjoying himself and in complete control, while Kylo lost himself in his emotion. But he did not want to be lost. He wanted vengeance, and he would have it. Kylo Ren thought that killing Kira's murderer would satisfy his bloodlust, but it did not. Fortunately, there was plenty of guilty parties on this ship that he could focus his rage on. Finn watched Master Skywalker leave the ship and wasted no time hurrying after him. But as he walked down the ramp, Skywalker was nowhere to be seen. Instead, a squad of stormtroopers stood before him, and leading them was Finn's former captain.
FN2187. I thought my greatest failure would escape my correction. And now here you stand. Troops, deal with anyone else who leaves the Millennium Falcon, but don't harm the ship. It might be our only way off the final ISA. And do not interfere with FN2187's reconditioning. This is my duty.
Finn said nothing, just ignited his lightsaber and charged Captain Phasma. Unbeknownst to him, Maz Kanata casually walked behind him, followed by Poe Dameron.
Where's the kid off to?
Retribution. Justice. Therapy. You know, that sort of thing.
Great. All these stormtroopers, and the only help I get is the size of an Ewok.
Han Solo once said, short help is better than no help.
Poe's smile at that comment turned to shock, as Maz activates her jetpack, flies overhead, and lands in the center of the squad of stormtroopers. Before the troopers could react, a concussion wave extended out from her, knocking all the stormtroopers to the ground. Finn and Phasma locked into combat immediately, Phasma taunting her former subordinate with every strike of her staff. But Finn was too full of rage and frustration to even hear her. Frustration that Phasma's Beskar armor and staff were deflecting his lightsaber, and her fighting skill was making up for Finn's force advantage. He should have ended this already, and that fueled his rage even more. But then Phasma's words broke through his anger.
I would have thought just being around the great Luke Skywalker would have taught you something. But you are a worse fighter now than when you deserted.
This made Finn remember he had been taught by the great Jedi Master, and rage wasn't the way. Finn centered himself and let the Force guide him. The Force blocked Phasma's attacks and led Finn's lightsaber to the weak spot on Phasma's armor.
I will hunt you down until I end you, FN2187.
No. You won't.
Meanwhile, Kylo Ren makes his way to the bridge, killing everyone in his path.
Hello, Lord Ren. I would say the ship is yours, but I fear to hand it over in this condition.
If that is all you fear right now, you don't understand the situation you find yourself in.
Oh, I am well aware, sir. I knew my fate the moment Cypher Ren boarded the ship. Admiral Hux had hope, but I knew it would be our doom.
Hope? Why didn't he have loyalty? Why did he betray me? Why did you all betray me?
Admiral Hux, sir, like the rest of us, are loyal, sir. Loyal to the Empire. We aren't the traitors, sir, you are.
You, Captain Pride, are about to find out what real treachery is.
That is enough, Ben. No more killing. It's time to let go of your anger.
Stay out of this, Uncle. You can't bring me back.
You are right, I can't bring you back. For a long time Snoke had you trapped in your anger. But he's gone. And the only one keeping you angry is you. Remember the moment you killed your father. Remember who you were at that moment. Remember your father searching your face for Ben Solo. Han died trying to find you. If you choose the dark path, he died for nothing.
After a few breathless moments, Kylo Ren deactivated his lightsaber and said,
"Well played, Uncle,"
and walked off back toward his quarters.
Thank you, Master Skywalker. Now if you will excuse me, I need to continue with the evacuation.
The ships that can get away have already gotten away. Come with me. We can get you and your bridge crew out on the Falcon.
Thank you again, Master Skywalker. That is a generous offer. But a captain always goes down with his ship. Those of remaining have nothing outside the Empire or this ship. So we will share their fate. You don't have much time. May the Force be with you. It obviously is.
Poe and Maz were pinned down. Maz's force blast didn't stop the stormtroopers for long, and between them and the ship's internal lasers, Poe didn't know how they would get back to the Falcon. Finn joining the fray helped some, but Poe knew with the numbers against them, it was just a matter of time. But then, a large blast rocked the whole ship and chaos erupted. Everyone knew at that moment the finalizer was lost, and it was every man for himself.
How much longer should we wait?
A voice from across the hangar answered Finn's question before Poe could.
Wait just a little longer. Get on the Falcon and get it ready to get out of here.
Poe, Finn, and Maz didn't have to be told twice. They ran for the Falcon, and as soon as they were on board they began shouting at Chewbacca to take off. That is until Luke yelled,
Not yet, Chewie. We have to wait.
Wait for what?
Chewie saw them first and let out a scream that sounded like violence. Finn drew his lightsaber and yelled,
Murderer!
But before Finn could advance, Luke Skywalker stepped in front of him with lightsaber drawn.
Kylo didn't kill Rey, Finn. Search your feelings, you know this to be true. He avenged her murder and brought her body so we can lay her to rest. I won't let you take your grief out on him. Now Chewie, can you get us out of here, please?
A large explosion that rocked the Falcon brought everyone back to their current situation. Chewbacca and Poe ran for the cockpit. Once there, Poe was surprised to see Chewie take the co-pilot chair.
Are you sure, big guy? It's your ship, you know it better than I do. All right then. I will fly it. But just because you said so.
Poe took the Falcon out of the finalizer's hangar just before the hangar exploded, then went full throttle on the engines to avoid the explosion of the rest of the finalizer. All around Coruscant's orbit was much of the same. Imperial Star Destroyers either destroying each other or blowing up from the inside.
Looks like Rey single-handedly took out the whole remnant fleet. Good job, kid. Yeah. You're right. There is nothing more for us to do here. Let's go home.
A standard week had passed since the destruction of the remnant fleet and the liberation of Coruscant. The Republic, still operating from its makeshift headquarters on Dekar, coordinates the cleanup and rebuilding of the once great planet city, allowing the liberators of Coruscant some much-deserved rest. But not all can rest. The man who used to be known as Kylo Ren sits in the military cantina on the base, pondering if this new path he has chosen is the right one, or will just end in disaster like the rest of his life.
You know it's rude to take up a stool at the bar if you aren't drinking. You are costing the bartender money.
Well, Uncle, as you can see, I have a drink.
Yes. But you aren't drinking it. Kylo, come take a walk with me.
It's Ben now, Uncle. I left Kylo Ren on the finalizer.
Ben didn't allow Luke time to reply to that revelation. He got up, slammed his drink, and exited the bar.
Have you been to see your mother?
No, I can't look her in the eye after what I have done. Not after Dad. I wrote her, explaining how I feel. I told her I love her but have to get right with myself before I could get right with her. I hope she understands.
She understands everything, Ben. Including the fact that your father's death was not your fault. Don't stay away too long. Your mother lost her husband, don't let her lose a son as well. And what about Chewie? After he tried to kill you again on the Falcon, how will you reconcile that relationship?
Chewie decided to reconcile it for me. He came to me a few days ago, said after careful reflection, the life debt he owed my father passes on to me. However, he will still have his vengeance should Kylo Ren come back.
Ha! So basically he told you he's going to keep an eye on you in case you go to the dark side. It was nice of him to sugarcoat it though. It worries me you out there with no guidance. The dark side is not something that can be shaken off lightly.
Worry not, my wise uncle. I won't be without supervision in the Force either. Maz agreed to accompany Chewie and I on the Falcon.
That does ease my mind. Maz Kanata will be an excellent teacher. Still, I wish you had decided to join me to help rebuild the academy.
I know you do, but it's balance I need, and Maz knows balance. When I'm ready to enter the light, I will join you.
So where are you off to?
The Republic tasked Chewie and I with locating all the Star Killer bases in the unknown region. Active or not, they want to salvage what they can off the dismantled bases and destroy any active ones. The four of us are going to scout out the locations and report back to Akbar.
4 of you?
Yes, Babu Frick is staying on the Falcon. He says he couldn't leave the Millennium Falcon in such shoddy condition, but really Frick and Chewie have developed a connection over mechanics. All they do is sit and argue over the best way to fix something.
That's quite the crew you assembled. I am sure you are in good hands.
Have you seen Finn? I owe him a lifetime's worth of apologies. I thought I should start right away.
You already missed your chance. Finn left Kar a few days ago. The Republic sent him to Coruscant. When Finn sat in Snoke's chair, he wasn't able to reach everyone. So they are having him exercise the dark side out of anyone they missed. You can see Finn when you come to Act 2 for Kira's funeral. And you will be at Kira's funeral.
Yes, Master. I don't think I could keep Chewie or Maz away even if I tried to chicken out. Act 2, huh? Are you really going to rebuild the Jedi Academy there?
What better place? The knowledge stored there is plentiful. Better us go to it, than try to haul it all out. We are talking about physical books here. Not to mention, the security a little-known location provides is critical, considering what befell our last school. Ben. Before you go, I have a gift.
Luke reaches into his robe and pulls out the hilt of Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Uncle, I am trying to leave the dark side behind. Running around the galaxy with a red lightsaber just screams bad guy.
Luke ignites the lightsaber to reveal a green blade and crossguard.
But I am not a Jedi, Uncle. Not after what I've done.
You will always be a Jedi. Deep down. And when that Jedi is ready to surface, you have a place in the Jedi Order. The Force will be with you, Ben Solo. Always.
Thank you, Uncle Luke. May the Force be with you.
Ben Solo boards the Millennium Falcon to find his 3 crewmates squabbling over a game.
I don't know how old Babu Frick is, but Chewbacca, you are 250 years old, and you, Maz Kanata, are over 1,000. Does maturity start to waver after a few centuries?
Maybe. You are too young and inexperienced to know just how mature I was being. Considering the actions of this cheating throw rug. I am not afraid of your arm removal threats. I could have you braiding the hair on your knees if I wanted to.
This is going to be a long adventure. Chewie, come to the cockpit so we can get going. I know, but it's just a game. I don't know how you have any friends if you threaten them over nothing. I know Dad appreciated it, but that proves my point. Dad didn't have any friends, except a Wookiee who was sworn to be his friend and a Jedi Master so tolerant he saw the good in Darth Vader. That's more like it. Now, let's go find us a Star Killer.